Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So this is part 3 of the Seat Ibiza, not Arosa, project. So today we're going to be starting to reassemble the car. We've got all the pieces now. The last bit was a dashboard kit, and that arrived yesterday, and all seems to be well there. So we're going to start with the undercarriage. We'll fit the wishbones, the shock, and then we'll get that reassembled, and then hopefully we can get the car. Well, actually, we won't get it on wheels. I need to get some tyres first, but we'll get the car at least into a state where we can get it rolling. And as you can see, I'm wearing one of my merch t-shirts. I'm going to revise my the merch on the store because quite frankly it's rubbish. It needs to be changed. Okay, let's crack on. Let's show you the parts that we got, and then let's start getting that car together. Okay, so this is the last of the stuff that we were waiting for. So we've got our new dashboard. It's already got the airbag, the passenger airbag in situ. So we need to take the old one off, but we'll do that on another day. A replacement hub. Now this hub came in the right state. It's absolutely fine. It was just very rusted, etc. So I took the liberty of painting it. I'll show you what it originally looked like. Yeah, that's how it looked like. And so we've painted it up and it looks much better. Then we've got a couple of front seat belts. So these are going to replace the ones where the where it's been triggered by the little explosion. So this bit here, that triggers and then sends a code to the ECU. Driver's airbag, and then of course the module. We shouldn't need this module because on VW vehicles they don't record the airbag. You don't have to replace it. You just need to clear the codes, and then the system will check to see if the airbag is still activated. If it is, it will leave an airbag light on. If it doesn't, it will remove that. So we shouldn't need that, but we'll keep it just in case. So that's all the final bits. Let's get on with the undercarriage and get that sorted. Okay, so we got the wishbone in, and you probably saw me struggling with that a little bit. And the reason being is that this nut here, when I was pushing it in, it wasn't going far enough. And the only way to get it in was to actually, in the end, give it a hammer and then it engaged with the nut. And how I found that out, I marked it with a Sharpie to show when it started to bite. So when I pushed it in, it was about that much out. And that's why it wasn't engaging. So lesson learned, but it went in straight away. Just had to tighten it up. Okay, so next we're going to deal with the shock. Probably what I'm going to do is mount the shock to the hub first of all, get that in place, and then we can mount it as a whole unit. So before we do that, we need to put, I was going to say we were going to put the ball joint in, but what I might do is attach the ball joint to the hub first, and then we can attach the ends in, 'cause it's a lot easier to do it that way than attach the ball joint to this and then leverage that down to push into the hub. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Okay, suspension time. So we've got the hub out, and what I've done, I've put some penetrating grease in there so that it allows the shock to go through. Just before we put the shock in though, look at the old against the new. So this is the cup that basically goes into here, so the shock goes through the body and then screws into that. Here's the old one, completely shot. That's the reason why the old shock just fell out, because there was nothing to retain it. It was that badly damaged. But fortunately the actual hole where the shock goes in is absolutely fine, because it's made of toughened steel. It's designed to be able to take such impact, so that's good. So let's get this shock in, and then we will then deal with that. Slight change of plan. It's going to be easier to put this onto the shock off the car, so I'll take this off. Okay, so that's done now. So we put that in. Didn't take too long at all actually. So we now just got to put the retaining pin which holds the shock in place, makes it secure, and tighten that up. Then we'll put the ball joint in place before we mount it into the car. Okay, let's try again with the suspension. Okay, so that's got in pretty well and it looks pretty good actually. The next job I've got to do now is put the dry shaft in, but before we do that we're going to put the other side of this in, but we'll do that on the time lapse. Actually, before we do the other side, there's one other job that we need to do, and that's to put the steering tow bar in. So these are very simple. You can see down the end there is where the steering is, or the old piece. We're just going to put this in. It will take a couple of minutes and then we're done. Simply grab your tow bar. Well, it would normally be easy if it was the right one, but it isn't. So I'm gonna have to take this back now. Euro parts, don't you just love them? Okay, so we now have the right part. It took 5 attempts for Euro car parts to get this right. And what seems to have happened is that they had 5 of these all in the wrong boxes, with the bolt end being too big, but this is the right one. And they only figured that out after I bought the one that I did buy, which was correct. I brought it to them so they can see it for themselves, because they didn't believe me. Anyway, let's get this on the car. Okay, so fitting this to the car is very straightforward. You just need a 13mm spanner and a 24mm. I'm using an adjustable spanner because I don't have a 24mm, but it literally just screws on. And that's it, simple as that. Then we just put the gaiter on top of it, strap up the gaiter, and then you're sealed. The whole point of the gaiter is it's protecting this area from grit and dust. So if you do have any dust on the side, like I've got a little bit, be sure to wipe it out, because that will work its way into the ball, and if it does that, it's then going to damage it. Okay, so I've taken the old CV joint off, and as I suspected, it is completely shot to pieces. So I've gone out and bought another one, cost £22, and I used the Honey app to get this because it was £44 before the discount. So Honey does work for those skeptics out there. Right, so we'll put it in the joint. I've taken the boot off, and the good thing about this, it comes with those clips rather than the tie you know, things that you normally get, these things, which I really hate because they're just not as good as the actual metal clips. So I'm going to be using that. So we'll get that on here, and then we can get this back on the car. Right, CV joint done, all back in place. Let's get this back and fit it to the car. Okay, so we're going to end it there for this week. I'm sorry that it's not a longer video, but there's so much things happening in the moment, and I have to go and get the S3. Yes, the S3 is back from the painters. We'll show you that in an upcoming video, and all the other bits that we've got as a result of the S3. So that's coming up shortly. So in our next episode, we're going to get the car rolling on its own, under its own steam for the first time, and then we're gonna get it in the garage. And then once we get the car in the garage, we're gonna deal with that seat. So in the next episode, we will deal with what I'm calling seat egg gate. So we'll deal with that. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Be sure to subscribe down here if you haven't. Become one of our Patreons and you'll get early release to our videos. And just before we go, I often get questions from you guys about some of the tools that I use, the power tools, etc, etc. Well, everything that we use in these videos are in our Amazon store. So you'll see the Amazon store. It has literally everything that we have. Some of the tools are more specialist, like VCDS, and we have partners that you can get those from as well. But all the tools, most of the tools are available on our Amazon store, so be sure to check that out. Anyway, I hope you've had a good day or you've enjoyed this video, and we will see you very soon on the next one.